Good morning, everyone. Today I'm here at Oakwood Cemetery to talk about a topic that probably a couple of people who've watched my content would know about, as well as some of my other videos pertained to that I made earlier on in the year. And that topic today will be more of a focus on some of the issues that exist here at Oakwood Cemetery, but the main one I want to talk about today is the repair work that was done on some of the headstones. Now, you might recall I repaired this headstone here. This is the headstone of John W. Pennington, and as you can tell, there's an old repair mark near the base of the headstone where it had originally snapped and broken off, and then someone repaired it again. However, you might not notice it, but you can tell there's different discoloration to it, and that's because of what was used to repair it and some of the other stones that you'll be seeing in a little bit. Namely, based on what I've seen here, the substance that they had used to repair it is actually some form of cement-based mortar, which see here with the Samuel A. Daniels grave. You can actually see this far more distinctly. I'll clear a little bit of the grass to show you. This one shows more evidently. You can see the repair work here. That is some form of cement material that was used. Now, cement, compared to other mending materials for stonework, is one of the worst materials that you can use, especially if the mortar isn't designed to be used for stonework. Cement, especially substances like Portland cement, can cause the stone to become more damaged than what they originally were when they were originally damaged. What do I mean by that? Basically, what happens is that after the repair work is done using the Portland cement will dry over time, and eventually it will contract and shrink, and it becomes significantly more tough than the surrounding stone around it. This can actually cause further damage to the stone and can actually cause the original repair work that was done on it to fall apart, as we saw with Pennington's grave earlier on in the year. And we can see this entire repair job was not done just to Pennington's stone and Samuel Daniels' stone. We also see it here with Robert B. Hardisty's stone as well, and a number of the others. So whoever had originally repaired it didn't do their research when conducting these repairs. They just used whatever sort of mortar cement that they had at the time, rather than taking the time to look into what would be best to repair stone. Now, I'll be showing off another stone a little bit further up away from these that might be a significantly better example of how you can use different mortar techniques to be able to repair headstones. This is a headstone of Albert Polk Brown, which is the example I wanted to show you, because his headstone, you'll notice a significant visual difference. You can see, of course, that the headstone is in fact a slightly different color, and the repair work isn't actually the same sort of vibrant yellow you would notice in, say, for example, a cement-based mortar. That's because the mortar that was most likely used on this example is a stone masonry type of mortar, which is designed to mend two pieces of stone together. And as a result, it adopts a color similar to that of other repair work of the stone itself, because the materials that would be used in the mortar are not as intense, and they're similar to the native stone that it would be binding together. So in this case, it would be marble. So as a result, they more likely than not made this entire blend of mortar with the intention of it being used for a marble headstone. And as a result, from a distance, you cannot tell that this was properly repaired because it's actually taken up the same coloration as the stone itself. This means it's less likely to suffer any sort of cracking or anything else that would damage the stone and cause another fracture and for the headstone to fall apart. And in fact, as you can see towards the back of this headstone, there aren't very many, if any, visual cracks in between the repair work and the stone itself. So it's more likely that this repair job will last for a much longer time. Now, why am I discussing this entire importance of repair jobs and how to properly repair a headstone? Well, it all goes back to a major point, and that is the intention behind repairing headstones. When people want to repair something, they have good intentions behind it. But sometimes it can do significantly more damage if they aren't careful with the repair job. Now, if you want to repair a headstone, what you need to understand is this: you have to do the research before you do the repair job. The reason why is because you can cause significant damage if you don't use the right materials and apply it in a very careful manner. That is why I would recommend that if you have to repair a headstone, do your research, consult people who are experts at repairing headstones and working with stonework, to be able to get their advice on what to do, what materials to use, and how to properly use those materials. Because if you don't, you can cause significant damage to the headstone. But if you do it right, the headstone will last for another century or even more with proper care. But on one other point, I should mention this as well. A lot of this repair work would not be needed if people came out to take care of these headstones and make sure that they are cared for. So, if you truly care about a particular cemetery, if you are passionate about going there, make sure you go by and check on it. Check to see how everything is going. Just, even that will help out a bit, and then report any sort of damage whenever you can. And if you have the technical skills to do it, and you know how to do it, and you can consult people who know how to do it, then go ahead and try to do some of the repair work if you can. It all depends on the cemetery as well. This cemetery in particular is a public cemetery. As a result, the city doesn't do any of the repair work. That's left up to the family and volunteer groups to do it. So, in order to repair them, you almost have to do it yourself or get someone who knows how to do it. So it's important to check up on these cemeteries so that you don't have to do significant repair work like what we've seen on some of these headstones today. Because if you do that, it's less likely they will be damaged, and it's less likely that you'll have to do these sort of repair jobs and then risk damaging the stone even more. But if none of those options are available, do your research. Take the time to investigate how to do these sorts of repairs so that you can do them right the first time. I hope everyone has a wonderful day. I hope everyone's learned something from this, and may God bless all of you.